Yeah, I mean, I think us as a team versus C9's team, I think we have more chemistry and we're more like better as a team, I would say. Maybe individually you can argue that they're better or whatever, but I think as a team we're much better.
You know what, Kobe? I feel like Jojo might be onto something there. That was very much individual lanes trying to skill check the enemy versus EG being like, yep, we picked Ornn and Zeri, good luck.
It is a team game.
True.
And so that means when you combine all 5 champions, the comp is really what's going to matter later. If you make any sort of mistakes, and Cloud9, they definitely put themselves in a position, like you're saying, where they have to outplay all over the map from the beginning and not give up any gold to EG, and they were unable to do that. And EG, just rightly so, pushed right forward, stomped them basically in game number 1, and they have no reason to deviate from that path. So I expect another blind pick, a tank from Evil Geniuses, if Cloud9 do not take it away or do something about it. Thank you for the shout out on the desk, by the way, for Mark. I've been preaching for Illaoi into blind pick tanks plus team comps that are dive oriented. They are going to have many melee champions. Illaoi really hard counters multiple melee champions and smashes tank matchups. Other champions like Aatrox, which is not as much reliant on being counterpick, are also quite good into stuff like Ornn, Trundle. You know, obviously there are things you can go for. Let's see about this opening though, because EG started the exact same way, grabbing up the Zeri. Response is definitely different here from Cloud9 though, going for more of the 5-on-5 team fight here for Jinx Tahm Kench instead of the pushing Lux Caitlyn combination. Much more safety this time around for the bottom lane of Cloud9.
Yeah, EG didn't like it either, banning Caitlyn away actually. I think didn't fancy what happened in the 2v2, so do make an alteration. C9 also respecting the power of Lee Sin, banning it themselves despite Blaber looking great on it all playoffs long. So it is Jarvan for Inspired and Jojo back on Old Faithful Viktor in the mid lane.
Shout out to the Yuumi this time around from Cloud9 with the hover as well. But really, yeah, what are you going to do into this? Because they throw down an early Jarvan pick here for EG, not even seeing some vulnerabilities on the side of Cloud9 yet. So Fudge easily takes a response of the Corki. Valkyrie definitely quite useful versus Jarvan ganks, and is going to try and scale up into the late game poke monster that you still know. Yes, there were the nerfs to package timings, and so it's harder to sync those up for dragons for objectives, but does give you still that very strong late game rocket poke damage.
Interesting. So Yuumi banned by C9 kind of makes sense. Don't want to give that over to Danny and Vulcan again. Also Inspired and Vulcan had great pairing in game number 1, even though it isn't Nocturne, it is Jarvan. But Jace actually going to get banned this time. I thought Impact and EG handled Summit perfectly in game number 1. So interesting to see that they want to continue to respect the Jace here, banning it in phase 2.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit different when you have Nocturne versus Jarvan, as Nocturne puts tremendous threat on any aggressive matchup that wants to start pushing out like that, and we saw constant Nocturne punishments. Jarvan, though, is also quite good, just doesn't have as much of a range of punishing those side lanes, so they've still got their options available. Little shout out to LS from the Cloud9 side, though, for the possibilities. Okay, there's one of the champions I mentioned. The Trundle is locked in even before the super tank is shown, though. Currently, the only tank is, of course, Jarvan, so it's a bit early on the Trundle. It's a little bit of a preemptive Trundle pick. I still support it, though. I think Trundle is, regardless, a pretty universally good champion, very good at taking down objectives, does scale well regardless. And Cloud9 this time around very clearly are looking for more scaling and more team fight. They've got the Jinx Corki carries already locked in for themselves, so they wanted to be able to even shred whatever EG frontline starts to come their way.
Pillar feels pretty decent against EG's carries, especially their mid laner. Obviously, Zeri can be frustratingly mobile.
Yeah, actually sucks against Zeri because she can jump through it.
She has her jump.
And she can fire her laser through it as well.
Oh no, the anti-combos. Hey, look, it's on.
Yeah, big surprise, Pastrytime. The blind pick tank
was surprise.
You have a weird surprise response. Big surprise, though. The question that we said and we posed in game number 1 was not answered sufficiently. So EG are like, great, if you failed the test the first time around, we're going to give you the same test. How do you like that? What's your response? They did early lock in the Trundle, though. So they do have options for later shredding it, the resistances for team fights. Plus, giving Summit the Camille does have a lot of options for roaming around. If the Ornn is just going to soak the waves in side lane, then the Camille gets first move, and Camille has very oppressive chase down, can have ganks on other lanes as well as a top laner, and has the true damage to come through off of second Q. So it is an adaptation from Cloud9. It's not as extreme an adaptation as I theory crafted, but we shall see if it does work out in this one, because EG, you know, Jojo, even when he's on the Viktor, he will push the Viktor side of the Corki Viktor matchup harder than any other mid laner that we have seen, because he takes Scorch. You know, he takes all of these early game runes to do it. Plus, I am on the side of the Viktor matchup early. Is already the better side of the classic Corki Viktor matchup, even though they both scale. So I want to see specifically this time around actually moving the magnifying glass from top lane to mid lane and put it on the young NA talent, EG, with Jojo in his first playoffs in the LCS on Viktor. What can he do?
Cloud9, I think, changing speeds a little.
I've got some spice for you already, because I was watching the chat, and the first thing Jojo says when he gets into game is Gathering Storm. As we mentioned, he always wants to take Scorch. He always, this time around, he's got Transcendence plus Scorch, plus the Time Warp Tonic for the possible baits there with the instant heal. But I love it, the trash talk going through, and that just validates that we want to move our magnifying glass towards that mid lane, you know, toward this young guy. EG puts so much faith and so much effort into bringing up young North American talent. Both Danny and Jojo are great success stories of that, working through the North American talent system, coming up from amateur very, very rapidly, the ascent for both of these guys. And now Jojo is in his first LCS playoffs in his first year. And it could be the organization's overall first finals if they could make their way all the way to Houston and win there as well to get to finals. It's just such a tremendous pathway ahead of this Evil Geniuses squad. And since they've opened up the series with a Game 1 win, they're feeling quite confident with it. Summit, though, going in to check and just get a little visual confirmation that there is a top side start for Inspired. So it's interesting because he does not drop his Trinket Ward. I'm a big fan for top laners getting that Trinket between blue and Gromp, but he does basically that by getting early confirmation that Inspired is starting on blue. The one caveat I would say is that Jarvan can gank at level 2. And so even though he starts top side, it doesn't mean that he's not going to gank you on a level 2 timing. And I have seen, again, Summit ganked on literally every timing in the book because they are very frequently rewarded. And he trades very heavily, and you can see he's already at 50% health. As you already can see by the minimap, though, it is going to be just the normal clear here for Jarvan away from top lane.
Yeah, the other big battle's actually been mid lane, as you kind of predicted. Fudge winning right now with the early CS lead, but they are just going at it, shooting each other with lasers and rockets and bullets. So definitely potions ripped through. Inspired actually going to be spotted here mid lane, so Fudge should not fall prey to this attempt. Is level 3 as well, so now extra safe with Valkyrie skilled up if he didn't have it already.
Yeah, and Valkyrie costs a lot of mana too. So even if you can force the Corki to Valkyrie, 100 mana is nothing to shrug off in lane phase, where the Viktor, again, that side of the matchup, I feel is the aggressive part, as Fudge actually jumps on in on it.
Ooh, it's aggressive! So it's going to force the flash. Blaber's here as well, just going to walk on in, put up the pillow. Oh, he's got a flash! Fast blood from Blaber!
The chomp from Blaber here. And it is...
Summit! Oh my god, what a flash from Impact!
It is set up by Fudge. We mentioned the mentality of these two mid laners. We mentioned this rivalry that has been brewing between Jojo and Fudge. They've been trash talking constantly. Jojo saying he's going to send Fudge back to top lane. Well, Fudge with that Valkyrie Fossbomb trade and forcing the flash just sent Jojo back to the fountain for a brief time as Blaber came through on the response gank after Inspired was the first one there. It's just really well played with the information from Cloud9. And again, they both got wards. You see those 2 wards? The blue one expires. So critically, the EG information is gone now, and Fudge knows this. He goes in, he gets his Frost Bomb trade. There's no flash now for Jojo, and Blaber says, you can't even walk towards your tower with the W move speed. That W from the ground there gives him the move speed to get in place for the pillar, and the flash chomp makes good on the trade. Just very good coordination and use of information manipulation here by Cloud9. Fudge says, hey, their ward just expired because our trinket was later in the river. It saw that ward expire. Come over to mid lane. I will go for the aggressive trade on him. He Valk Frost Bombs to force the flash out of Jojo. And because the ward had expired, Jojo was walked back into mid lane. It's just really, really nicely done with the small timings and those windows that are afforded to you by paying very close attention to what information you have as opposed to your opponents. And a much needed response from Cloud9, Pastry, because game number 1 going so heavily the way of evil geniuses. I watched yesterday. I want another game 5.
Oh, absolutely. I will be very upset if I leave today with any less than 5 games. So I don't know who can arrange that, but I'd love it. We'll see what happens though. Fudge did not take kindly to Inspired ganking him when the cannon was low. That was a good timing, of course, but Fudge losing the cannon means that he's the rage overtakes him and he goes for Jojo, and Blaber cleans it up nicely. There is 5 people in mid lane, but Fudge just guiding the wave in. Not too much health, so C9 just going to get a little bit aggressive, make sure this wave moves on in. And oh goodness, they're actually going for the engage. The knockup, I think, barely missing from Isles. And now the counter gank here from Inspired. Vulcan moved up as well. Flashes in, gets the slow, gets the root. Blaber in so much trouble. But Trundle's pretty tanky, not tanky enough. Jojo gets his own kill.
It's funny that we were just mentioning yesterday's series, Patient, because mid lane minion waves were a war that was fought over yesterday as well. And it is, again, the case today. This time around with no flashes on any of the members. There were so many small things in that attempt to push that led up to this counter from EG. Yes, Cloud9, Fudge is low, so they call 3 members to help him push that wave in, but you saw Jojo use his gravity field on the 4 ranged minions. And 4 ranged minions is enough DPS to push and hold a freeze anywhere, even with the early arrival of your minions. So they knew that they had to push past that gravity field, and that caused Cloud9 to overextend. Blaber had no flash, so he got chunked out.
Summit low in mana, but definitely winning the 1v1 right now. Impact holding on as far as CS goes, but obviously Summit has the run of the 1v1 with no jungle attention.
Plus, with no extra attention towards topside, Summit finally gets a lane where he could fully abuse his advantage. And he's got a cull on top of the possible dive.
Level 6 on, but pretty low hit for Impact. Great double knockup. Here comes the Ornn, and there's someone going in. He dodges the ulti and gets the 1v1 kill, and he gets out.
Beautiful stuff here. Very easy to use your immunity frames
but don't
there.
be greedy.
Yeah, finishes off the extra minions, and let's see how the cooldown on hookshot is looking.
It's up. Summit's like, yep, I'm chilling. He's hiding. All right, can't hide. Summit, Precision Protocol buffs, and Inspired's going to finish this off. Jungle gets the kill, yep. Inspired takes the gold.
It's funny, Pastry, after every successful Cloud9 move this game, there has quickly been a response from Evil Geniuses. And although it is less flashy, it is equally, if not more, successful because the EG counter push always results in some minion advantage as well and leads to a very marginal gold lead instead for Evil Geniuses, despite the successes that we have seen initially from Cloud9.
Definitely not the same time of this game, though, that the last one had, so C9 can lean on a more even game here in the earlier stages, but obviously you want to get Summit as much space as you can. You want to maybe get some pressure here onto Danny, but I don't think he's particularly unsafe. Zeri even just playing up with the wave, knowing Vulcan's coming back. And actually, oh, Danny's going to go for it there. Just lets it rip. Isles is going to have to back away, does get out safely, but Danny still shoot. Berserker low, forced to burn the heal. Danny just firing away.
Pretty good health chunk there in exchange for the all-in. It does time out the ultimate now while Blaber is around. So I wonder, you know, there's a slight possibility there's some sort of punish mint on the bottom side, but again, there are all summoners available on Danny, and Zeri has many options to deal with terrain influences, so shouldn't be very vulnerable. I do like just using the ultimate for big chunks of health there. If you know you're not actually going to go into a Dragon or Rift Herald fight, just getting your priority on lane, forcing the Cloud9 duo back, knowing that they will not be able to transition up to the top side first. They're actually keeping them pinned under tower while Blaber and Fudge move in response to this Rift Herald, which they've got a ward on the whole
2v2,
time.
Blaber gets knocked up, the Chaos Storm is dropped, and Jojo finds the kill. Fudge barely able to Valk out of the way, inspired low but not dead, and that's a free one.
Yeah, it is a free one, Pastry. It happened so fast. I was so surprised there that they just walk right up to the Jarvan combo with Viktor there. It's so effective if you can just EQ out of the brush and have the Viktor damage right on top of it. Blaber just gets annihilated before there's even any response.
Nice little ulti there for Summit. Dodges the incoming impact charge. Summit, you know, wants to trade more, but knows that there are more people in the top half of the Rift, so not going to overextend.
Yeah, they've still got this ward that lets them know, okay, the Rift Herald has been taken, but there's nothing they can do about it this time around since they just walked up and got comboed previously. And plus with your Rift Herald recall, he's going to get out and reset extremely quickly back to the bottom side of the map. So no dragon traded. There's no extra, you know, influence here given up to the side of Cloud9 from EG, and EG just, again, slowly plodding along in this game with Rift Herald in their pocket, plus the marginal gold lead off the 2 kills for jojopyun. And by the way, since it's Viktor, I'll always love mentioning this, that it also accelerates the upgrades for your Hex Core, which are critical for this champion. It's a champion that does scale, and that scaling is always the part that is highlighted. But to Jojo's point of taking early game runes, it actually does have a big influence if you can take early game runes and get takedowns with them, because it actually further accelerates your scaling with your Hex Core upgrade. So both of the kills going to him. He's definitely happy to be involved in that early action and be the one getting paid.
All right, it is the long con here, but that package there from Fudge is going to have to be burnt. Vulcan appears at the perfect time to blow that cooldown, but Cloud9 are going to get the first dragon unless... Nope, nothing going on. Blaber gets it.
It has been the story of the series thus far. EG getting their gold leads, Cloud9 getting the dragons. This is much later into the game too, so there will not be a threat of an early rush on dragons. As you also pointed out though, the team comps are very different for Cloud9, especially this time around, and so they are not pigeonholed as much as they were last time around. I mean, picking Jace top lane and Caitlyn Lux bottom lane puts you in such a tight timer with very little room for error. Almost no margin for error on that. Like, you have to, you know, play so aggressively and so effectively to be able to snowball that. This one, there is definitely more leeway.
Danny roaming around, but just going to leave the area. Berserker and Isles have had the worst end of the 2v2, but not too bad as far as gold goes, I'm sure. For the Jinx, again, Cloud9's bottom lane definitely playing more like they're scaling cells. Blaber is going to get involved here, though, but it's a 3v2. Jarvan over the top, the Devour's burnt down, and Isles just gets killed off by Jojo, inspired, locked in the pit, though. Fudge able to get that kill in the Jarvan Cataclysm, and Blaber now going to get jumped on. Danny looking to try and find the solo, donates the goal over to Jojo.
He doesn't even want to turn around and use the blast cone either, Pastry. He's like, forget the blast cone. I'm not letting you out of my sight for a second. He stays on him. He flashes over in the end. They get the extra kill. Vulcan's even going to harass Fudge more. Thankfully for Fudge, he does have red buff for a little bit of regeneration, and it's just going to be the wave pushed in from EG. But the problem continues to be exacerbated here, Pastry. More and more fights won by EG and more gold. The mid lane is a team objective, Pastry. The mid
I know, I hate
wave
it every game.
push is such a team objective, and I like the evolution as we've seen more and more teams be willing to commit all of these resources to it.
I like this as well. Popping the Herald, a little late, but find a perfect time for it. Just about going to get all the plates down. In fact, Jojo's going to stick around and make sure that happens. Fudge has to base. Blaber's not a threat. Okay, the Herald dies, so now the tower is. So Jojo not going to get it just yet, but has more than a minute to farm the last plate off if he wants it.
I mean, he's 4-1. This is...
Yeah, it's a big victor.
I love that the analyst desk also talked about the confidence of Jojo that he shows already at such a young age in his first LCS year, in his first LCS split. He's so incredibly confident when you've got 4 kills on Viktor early too, and you've completed your Ludens while everybody else is still scrambling in this game. There's no surprise that he is going to push as hard as he possibly can.
Sometimes that does cost Jojo though. That's been the one continual thing pointed out as him as a player. In lane, incredible.
As
out
is
of
the case.
lane, sometimes makes some errors.
Yeah.
But not this game, not right now.
always have to worry about the hubris taking over.
He's a rookie. Sometimes, it gets hypey.
Especially since, again, we are in the lower bracket here. So this is elimination game. You cannot afford to make large mistakes later on into the game. And it's a good point that you bring up because we've been tracking this for all of spring. You mentioned the success in lane and kind of the ego part of gameplay. Laning phase is of course the ego part of gameplay, and then you transition into the team fight phases towards the mid stages, and that has been where some of the EG losses and a large majority of these have kind of slipped away from them have actually occurred. But so far in this series, that has not been the problem for them, and especially this early game going so well. This will be tower number 2 already knocked down for them. You can see on the minimap though, Cloud9 making a play on top side. They sent Blaber up to Summit to try and trade on top side tower. So he's hovering around threatening Impact to make Impact back off, and they can hopefully get some tower gold back for themselves because EG have overloaded the bottom side of the map, and they're not stopping pushing either. 3 members circling on tower number 2.
Yeah, this FTX gold advantage feels like it's starting to snowball in the wrong direction for the Cloud9 fans. It was, tenable for a while at 600 or so, but they're just adding more as Fudge forced to flash away from Inspired. EG, we're going to take down this tower. Yeah, Summit's going to trade, but the T2s are worth so much bonus gold.
800 for the team with local and with team-wide gold for you. So huge rewards there in advance of the Dragon. And here goes Summit trying to...
Ooh! It's going to be close. Impact has to just stand there and take the pain. 1v1 Summit, they're not going to be able to get it. It was awfully close. Summit burnt the flash as well. Impact also flashed in that play. But Impact does live. That's the important part.
They're trying to add some more hype to the player. They're like, oh, do you know?
Yeah, a little jump cut back in.
Getting a little low. Maybe he went for the dive. It is the flash, though. It was flashes traded. I believe was the off-screen trade that we did miss there towards the tower. And in the end, I honestly think that is actually detrimental for Summit. A flash for Ornn, not the biggest of issues. Impact is definitely one of those seasoned players that can get off like flash charge plays. Someone's too close to a wall will punish them. But for the majority of the time, I think flash on Camille is more threatening for the pickoff because Camille here is picked in order to kill either Viktor or Zeri. Getting one of these carries isolated. And in this case, your eyes are on Viktor. Viktor is the super fed carry for EG. They need to get him down if they're going to, make much headway in these team fights. Again, though, EG continue on giving up dragons. They are unperturbed by the dragon stacking for Cloud9. This game is much further delayed, so also very reasonable in this one to give them up.
Yeah, getting extra gold as well. They got the Herald, which presumably will turn into some gold. Danny gets actual gold into his team's pockets, taking out the outer tower here in top lane. And EG maybe looking for something here in mid. Lasers thrown out, but Berserker and I was going to be A-okay.
It's a very interesting strategy that we're seeing repeated by the evil geniuses, and it is pick some scaling options, not all scaling, so that we have somewhere to work off of. But with those scaling options, the Viktor, and the Ornn, we're also trying to get gold objectives early, not dragon objectives. Because dragon objectives have to peak earlier, and you have to fight on the soul to be able to actually accrue it. The scaling picks, if they get gold early, then you can fight them off of those dragon soul fights.
Yeah, this gold advantage is getting out of hand. Berserker ate a massive laser out of Jojo, who's 4-1-0, careening towards item number 2. Couldn't defend there with the Rift Herald number 2 taking out the tower. Danny's back in top side. Yeah, so much pressuring the side lane, right? Like, he is very potent in the 1v1. With free time on the towers, can take them pretty quickly, but Impact just doesn't care.
And some of the problems that Cloud9 will probably begin to face here now are that even though they have a Trundle, and so you think, oh, we can Trundle ult the Ornn and play front to back. The problem is that you don't get, since your front line is not as sturdy, Trundle coming from jungle is much underfed. Summit, though, is the next target. Summit targeted again. He gets knocked up and he gets closed in.
I mean, this far up, no flash. What are you supposed to do? Unfortunately for Summit, the answer is going to be die. He's going to look to try and take out Impact, but he's in a 1v4. He's not going to get the trade, and Jojo, of all people, gets kill number 5.
So he gets picked off again, and Cloud9, what do they get for it? Pastrytime? Nothing. A big old goose egg here for Cloud9. Unable to punish anything because you would have to have other lanes pushed up to objectives to really make the most out of Summit drawing multiple members to that side lane. Because that did not happen, there is no real response here. And so it is just more gold positive plays on the side of EG, so carefully calculated from the evil geniuses. They saw the strategies that 100 Thieves exposed the entire league versus Cloud9. And I credit 100 Thieves with kind of the downfall of Cloud9 throughout this summer split, because you remember back to the story of this split, Cloud9 dominated. They were looking again like they were on a clear pathway to #1. Blaber playing out of his mind. Summit constantly dominating top lanes, huge top diffs every game. Berserker crushing team fights. And then the change happened. The mountain came. 100 Thieves crafted specifically their strategy versus Cloud9. They defeat them super weak. Cloud9 start dropping games. They defeat them again in playoffs. Cloud9 dropping down to the lower bracket. And everybody now trying to repeat.
Oh, it's a painful Berserker. Wrong brush in that one there.
Yeah, they have no control of the map. They've lost full control because EG focused so heavily on these early gold objectives and map control. Thank you, observers, for toggling the vision, because this is how dark and bleak it looks for Cloud9. The pick onto the Jinx means they've got no power for their team fight now. Fudge is trying to scale. He's got his Muramana completed, but his Ludens is not done.
Summit, I think, yeah, just trying to be cheeky, but he's going to get somewhat punished. That Chaos Storm is a significant chunk of damage, even with only a couple ticks. And EG get what they really came for in this play, taking another tier 2 off the map Kobe. 6 towers to 1, and a whole bunch of gold still in EG's favor.
Yeah, and all this, it's also just so funny to me that all of these kills have gone into JoJo, and you're just like, where's our best possible area to funnel gold? Guess what? JoJo's getting all the last hits. This is a 6-kill Viktor. And to our point earlier, if you're picking some champions that scale very well, like Viktor, and you can focus on early gold objectives, then you just accelerate your scaling. You don't have to wait until late game. It's 20 minutes, and he's already a massive threat. 8 stacks on the Darksteel. The Void Staff is even completed, even if you want to build magic resistance. So it's just like, what are your answers? Because he develops what are your responses? Because JoJo's got the answers to even the magic resistance before you even build it. Makes the game very difficult. Okay, there for Cloud9 is some hope. The Ludens is now done for Fudge, so they can hope for their scaling threat of threading these rockets, into the backline. Even then, though, there's a big shield here coming from Karma. So it's so difficult for those rockets to really make the meaningful difference, because Impact also and Inspired on the front lines will be blocking them. Fudge, though, trying to do work. He has package.
What an angle here. The Ornn ulti. Devour from Isles does save Berserker for a while, but Danny's trying to chase someone who TP'd in. Trundle ulti pop. Fudge getting low though. Summit looking for the perfect flank. Dives on in, but it may be too deep. Blaber's going to join him, but Fudge can't go in there. Summit left completely alone by his team. And EG just waltz on through. It's Inspired going back through. There's the ulti finally. Perfect in the choke point. And Danny is going to free fire down Berserker. Somebody please give JoJo the last hit. And look at that, Kobe. 3 more kills for JoJo's Viktor.
JoJo, the rise of NA talent here. JoJo and Danny, the Bash brothers. Oh, Blaber might go for a suicide steal here. He's going on a one-way ticket, that's for sure.
Intercepted by Impact, good catch. Danny is gonna get blocked off by the pillar, but
he's
not gonna
out.
stop
He
Zeri
got him
from
off
long.
Dragon and he's out. Fudge teleports in. They've actually delayed it.
No vision, so Fudge not going to start chucking rockets just yet, but again, Cloud9 have the same thing they had last game. They desperately want this Dragon Soul, and they're going to do everything they can to try and get it, but EG are going to try and stop them.
Yeah, I think they're going to commit everything. There's the Impact teleport. He doesn't have ultimate, though.
The poke from JoJo is just too much for these carries.
Everybody's back, Pastry. It's round 2, 5 on 5, all in.
Yeah, but you ran out of ultis. That's a very nice ult from Berserker, though the Ludens isn't enough to get a splash kill. Inspired is trapped in the pit, gets rooted by a Chomper, but it's just going to be a steal, and there is no steal. Cloud9 commit everything, and they get what they want. They get the soul point.
And as we alluded to, in this game, the Dragon Soul is more powerful for Cloud9 than in the previous game. They've got so many ways to make use of a Hextech Dragon. And Hextech Dragon Soul is more universally useful than the Ocean Soul. It's actually going to give a nice window for Cloud9 this time around if they can actually get it. Very big difference between the Soul and the 3 dragons, the Soul point here. So take another look at how it started, and you can kind of see what we're talking about with the Trundle ult goes on, and so you start to shred the front line, but then it's still very hard for them to commit. Because you look at that Chaos Storm. The Chaos Storm alone gets both Cloud9 carries out of the fight while the Cloud9 front line dives in. It is literally a JoJo diff there. Chaos Storm zones the entire Cloud9 DPS, and we're out to Baron Pastry, 6K and drop it.
Summit doesn't have TP, by the way. I just checked. He's all the way down there in the bottom lane, so
no
this
flash for
is
Blaber
a
either.
flip or nothing. They're going to go in there with the Jinx rocket. They can't steal the Baron. Can they get out alive? Looks like the answer is yes, but only a tower for Summit here in the bottom side, not even close to the inhib.
Masterful use here by Evil Geniuses. Zoning them off that dragon. Even though they give up the dragon, they go for the early reset timers, Pastry. Reset timers, getting right back out to Baron. Fine, we will give you soul point. We gave you the entire soul last time around and beat you. And guess what? JoJo upgrading to the Medjais. That's what I love to see. 9-kill Viktor with 10 stacks Medjais, and he's feeling confident. His stopwatch has been broken, so guess what?
There's his Zonias.
Upgrade that sucker into a shiny new Zonias. He can do the same exact play again, and he has flash. He's level 15. The level 2 Chaos Storm already was able to almost kill Fudge and zone out Berserker in the last fight. Imagine what the level 3 Chaos Storm will do for JoJo.
Could win in this game. Could win in this series, to be honest. EG looking very good so far in game number 2. Poised to put Cloud9 on the back foot in elimination territory. As, again, this is our final best of 5 before we ship off to Houston. EG would love to be team number 3 joining everyone else for finals weekend. And Cloud9 have not missed in spring for a while. This one will hurt.
It certainly will, considering how dominant they were in the beginning of Spring Split. EG, though, they've got a lot to do still in this series, Pastry. This is still a very young setup with both carries from Danny and JoJo having yet to experience an LCS finals. They're marching their way straight towards one, though, and Summit wants to stop them.
Yeah. Oh, he went all the way over. Danny actually managed to flash that wall, and Summit's completely out of position as a result. Impact's getting shredded, but they just don't have the damage. The Chompers, I think, are going to save C9, but Danny is going off. Zeri is disgusting as Danny is going to find 2, make it 3. The man has the penta in his eye.
Another penta! Go for it! Go for it!
Danny penta! It seems to happen all the time. JoJo, you absolute jerk! There we go! No, what's going on? Where's Danny? He doesn't care. He does his waiting. Danny's gonna give it to him. There's the pentakill. A donation from Cloud9 as EG take game number 2.
Danny, the pentakill machine. All right, this one was given to him by both Fudge and his teammates, and yet still, he delivers again.
Would you like to know an NA player? Well, never mind, we'll hold that thought for a second. Summit trying to keep them off. They actually can't finish again. Oh, give me a little tidbit. Would you like to know what other North American AD carry with a lot of pentakills in his career? Double lift.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, though, like,
Danny looking pretty good for a very young player.
Yeah, that
one's fraudulent.
That is one of the saddest last skills of a pentakill that I have ever seen. Danny didn't even want it. He
wanted to win.
Exactly. And I actually admire that mentality in a playoff series from one of these young players that we're talking about, where Danny, in this high pressure elimination playoff series, you know, he gets jumped on by Summit. He's right over the wall, jumps over, brings Summit with him. They annihilate him in the team fight. And what is he thinking? He's not thinking, oh great, my stats. Oh great, I can get a pentakill. He's thinking, end the game. I don't care who takes the kills.
All right, well, ulti burn by Isles to save Berserker. EG running down mid to try and take out the Nexus. Once again, C9 find themselves with a bare Nexus, and EG bearing down on them in another game here. Here we go, Summit finds the angle, but again, Danny might just fight his way out. He's low with the shields. They're gonna keep him alive. He does finally die, but JoJo takes the reins in the team fight. Make it double-digit kills for the Phenom as EG are gonna storm through this base, take out the Nexus, and push Cloud9. You must win 3 games in a row. Get the tweets ready, because EG are 2-0 up in this series.
Nicole, buy the plane tickets now if you haven't. Evil Geniuses looking towards Houston with big eyes. They are hungry, Pastrytime. And they are following in the footsteps, the battle plan versus Cloud9.
Look at them, hey, get those penta, buddy.
Clear and straightforward. Danny was all business. He was taking down objectives, take down in the inhibitor. He doesn't care. You can finish off the kills. Take it, Impact. Take it, JoJo. Doesn't matter. He goes over to finish the job, though. They force him to. They force feed that penta. Even Fudge was like, come on, man. Get your penta.
All right.
Come get it.
EG all smiles. By the way, the players walk out the same way when they're leaving the stage. I saw Inspired run over to Fudge and start chatting to him. So probably talking about the gift that Danny was given there. But I agree with you. I think that kind of poise, that kind of truly competitive mentality of like, yeah, I don't want it. I don't care what my KD is. I just care that the enemy next explodes before mine does.
And EG as a team have been all business in this series.
Yes.
They have not chased stats. They have not chased dragons. They have been straight to the Nexus. Get gold early on these carries and finish the game. That is it. They want to wrap this up.
Yeah, we could have an early day. I hope that doesn't happen. We'll have to see. But come to us in Houston next week, and you could win some free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff, Kobe?
I love free stuff, baby.
Okay, all ticket holders are automatically entered for a chance to win a jersey signed by one of the teams competing at Spring Finals. You can check out lolesports.com for terms and conditions. So while you check out all the details, we're once again heading over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Okay, wonderful.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I don't know what I said went out. I hope
Doing
not.
some last-minute work over here to get the segment already. EG 2-0 over Cloud9. As Kobe said, wide eyes right now set on Houston. One more win separates them from making that trip out to Texas. We have to talk about Champions League, though, because we had a lot of questions. We had a lot of criticisms towards Draft 1 for Cloud9. They elected to stay on the red side, but we did believe they would switch things up. They did exactly that. However, unfortunately, it still did not garner them the win with a very different look.
It's not like a terrible draft, I would say, in some regards.
I like it.
It's just not very Cloud9. Like, it's so defensive and reactive. It's double scaling marksman with the Jinx and Corki, and then Trundle and Tahm Kench. It's just trying to get to late game team fights. The Camille is the kind of the X factor, but it doesn't have a dive buddy for team fights, so it's more of a 4-1 look, and not that many ways to really get it going against Ornn.
And additionally, Summit Camille context, because we had a whole discussion about this off camera. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a Camille player. He picked it up more like last year. And in those scenarios, it was a lot of like dive buddies with Croco on Live Sandbox, right? Or like he's coming up to his lane and they're really hard focusing that lane, so he gets insanely ahead, and then you just can't contest her insides, and she's really good into team fights. And that would, if they had played maybe more around it, it would have served them a little bit better, because what ended up happening is even when he was splitting off, their 4 was just getting absolutely shredded by EG.
Yeah, interestingly enough, while it was one of his highest win rate champions last year, as you mentioned, he picked it a majority of the time blind in those cases. Here, as you mentioned, Mark, it was a reactive pick, but that's almost why I want to hold it to a higher standard. When you know what you're playing it into and you're going to go for it, you're putting a lot of eggs into this basket to say, hey, we're already down 1-0 in the series, and we're going to give you this champion in the top lane Summit to try and make something happen. And now you have fallen into reverse sweep territory.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't work out, but I think when you look at how this entire game went down, it was just a slaughter kind of top to bottom. And I mean, there was like one punch in the early game where they hit JoJo, and then after that, JoJo absolutely slaughtered Cloud9.
He got up real angry from that day.
It was just such a good game from not only just, you know, Vulcan and their bottom lane there and Danny, but also just Inspired. We were talking about yesterday how strong the J4 was, but like the security from J4 in a lot of these team fights, but then we go back to talking about Danny Zeri and how cracked he is on that pick. It's great to watch.
Look at that Ornn. Ornn, you know?
Hey, do you guys think Ornn's a good champ?
We need more data.
One more game maybe of data? One more game's
series.
worth of data to figure out whether or not Ornn's
A flurry of wins.
good champion?
This is where you see the Camille try to come into the fight, and JoJo actually has like a really good, you know, stopwatch, and then the back of this fight is just nuts.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, the entirety of EG is playing so well. This is the scrim EG we heard about all split long. They showed up in lock-in, they disappeared for a while, and now it feels like they're back because, as Raz was saying, everyone was playing well. Like, this was the highest impact Karma I think I've ever seen. Like, most Karma games, you're like, ooh, there's a nice shield, there's some poke in lane, but he was roaming mid, he was landing these tethers and stuff to accelerate that Viktor.
And that's why I'm glad Raz called out Inspired too, because I think a super important thing here was also that, you know, like Vulcan in the first game, he's detaching from Yuumi, partnering up with Inspired. In this game, we saw the Karma roaming around in tandem with Inspired, and that's just such a massive map pressure difference for EG.
That's a climb.
That's a clean gold grab.
All the way
Would
up.
you say it's a summit?
Hey, bright shining light for Cloud9.
What is it?
Drake control.
There it is.
Yeah.
This series, 100% on the Drakes.
They got him.
Let's see if we can turn that into a victory in game number 3.
All this is saying is Drakes don't matter.
They clearly don't, especially Ocean Drakes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A small point about the draft, once again, a real smart point for Evil Geniuses is that they're allowing themselves to get actually counter-pick supports. That the engage is coming through elsewhere. This last game, it was the Nocturne, and of course they had Ornn in that one. This one, they already have J4. So multiple times in a row, it seems like what we were talking about with Isles, he's blind picking the Tahm, Kench, or some of those options. But now we've seen Vulcan on the Yuumi, the Karma, and it's really stopping the strategy of, Cloud9, where they're trying to play towards bot side a little bit, and they're just getting stuck.
Emily, I want to talk about JoJo a bit because we always have questions about young players, rookies, stepping into best of fives as pressure ramps from series to series, yet he only seems to be getting better.
Yeah, this man does not care. The pressure does not seem to get to him, and I think, like, having interviewed him and talked to him, he's so, like, nonchalant
It's the face
and
of a
casual
killer right there.
about his own play. He believes tremendously in his own two hands and, like, his own mechanics.
He was so hyped up coming into the year, and he had like a little bit of a flop right after lock-in, and everyone was so quick to be like, this is the guy you were trying to hype up, like, this is NA's future, like, look at this idiot. And then like, hey, yeah, no, this is why he was getting hyped up. Like, now look at it.
Yeah, getting hyped up, and rightfully so in this one. Of course, when it comes to delivering the win here in game number 2 for Evil Geniuses, this one was a bit of a tandem job. It was Danny on one side doing what he always seems to be able to do, find the quadras and even the pentas to boot, but not without a little bit of help from Fudge.
There we go.
Delivering that dub.
Exactly, because if there's one person on this map that knows what his job is here, it's Fudge. If you count him up, how many pentas Danny's had in his short career, he's like, wait a minute, why not help a brother out and give him one more?
Yeah, I mean, the team was letting him stay alive, so Fudge did the return and stayed alive and didn't go back to Fountain and gave the kill.
No, but
So mean.
No, it's not. He was in on the joke. It's not mean. He let it happen. All right, well, we're only 1 week away from the LCS finals in Houston, and Grubhub doesn't want to let you miss out on the experience live. Use the code PLAYOFFSXP to win great prizes, including the Ultimate Prize Pack, which has the latest peripherals from Rockhat and tickets to watch the best teams in the LCS April 23rd and 24th live. Now, before the game, Grubhub will also be holding Feeding Frenzy at FanFest in NRG Stadium, featuring some of your favorite personalities like Tyler One, Doublelift, Meteos, and Cutie Cinderella. Do not miss it.
sounds good to me.
You know what else you also don't want to miss?
What do I want?
Game number 3,
Boom.
right? Because one of two things is either going to happen. We're going to get the clean sweep from Evil Geniuses and this team that we've heard so much about from the scrim environment that to many looks like, or the pro players I mean, looks like the second best or best team in the league. We might actually get to see a little bit of that on the stage. Or we're going to get that first punch back from Cloud9 to try and execute the reverse sweep that we saw happen yesterday. I'm going to send Emily over to the telestrator because she's got the neatest handwriting.
Is that why?
That's absolutely. I'm not going to let you touch that thing.
You don't trust my
It's going to be
handwriting?
very illegible.
Great penmanship.
Well,
Thank you
first
very
of
much.
all,
As we've done, don't light our predictions out. Don't you do it. That's so rude.
Whoa!
Okay, well, we deserve it.
They cannot be
because,
right.
Oh, my goodness. We were so far from correct. A refresher on the old predictions. Both Emily and Mark went 3-2 for Evil Geniuses. Of course, that's still very possible, but I'm going to throw it to you two first. Do you want to change those score lines?
Yeah, I want to go with Camp Bobching. Put me at 3-0, dude.
Alright.
This is over.
Dude, Mark's in on
30
it.
and a handshake.
3-0, boom, up there with Bob Chin. All right, Emily, what about you?
I'm gonna go 3-1. Like, I still think there's some Drake stacking issues. There's some, some neutral objective setup issues.
Okay, so Emily's giving the next one to Cloud9,
Yeah.
but I'm going to come back to you on how it is that Cloud9 is going to get it. But Raz, where are you at, my friend?
I know I flip-flopped yesterday.
You did.
And I'm regretting
you
it.
Flip-flopped and flippity-flopped.
But you
Yeah,
flopped
flip-flop right
back.
back. Exactly. And I regret it because
do.
the reverse sweep happened.
Yeah, if you'd stuck to your guns.
I would have been on point for that one.
You gonna stick to your guns? Well, you can't stick to your guns.
Yeah.
3-1 is impossible.
You can only say
Cloud9,
3-2.
but-
You know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah, you can say
I'm gonna
3-2.
say 3-1 Evil Geniuses.
3-1 even. So you're with Emily.
I'm still with Emily on. with Emily on this one. I think there's got to be a comeback game.
Mark said something that really struck a chord with me earlier today in waiting room.
What was it?
It was something to the effect of ride or die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride or die with Mark.
Hell
30
yeah, brother.
and a handshake. 3-0. Let's go for EG.
Hell yeah,
to
brother.
end it here. I'm going straight to the other side of the spectrum. Cloud9 has not shown me anything today that makes me believe they're going to be able to take this next game outside of what Emily mentioned, which is, hey, some dragons stacking. So perhaps with the right team comp and the right soul, you get it.
It's heavily draft dependent.
Don't
right?
do it,
So,
Cloud9, no!
They're trying it.
They're trying it.
They're trying to reverse curse.
Hey, they did it. Yes, they tweeted that out yesterday. It happens more often
Alex
than
Pence.
Oh, wait, where's Jet? He needs to do a
Find the Alex Penn
jojopyun.
tweet.
Yeah, exactly.
He
the
needs
OG.
to do a jojopyun monologue from
Oh,
Jet.
yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It is. That could do the trick.
All right, well, it looks like EG has done enough in this series to sway all of us into their favor, but they still have to get it done on the Rift. Now, with their playoff dreams on the line, Cloud9, they've got one last shot to stop the dominant Evil Geniuses. It's match point right after this.
And EG just waltz on through. It's inspired, going back through. There's the ulti finally perfect in the choke point, and Danny is gonna free fire down Berserker. Somebody please give Jojo the last hit, and look at that, Kobe. 3 more kills for Jojo's Viktor. Zeri is disgusting as Danny is gonna find 2, make it 3. The man has the penta in his eye.
Another penta! Go for it! Go for it!
Danny penta! It seems to happen all the time. Jojo, you absolute jerk! There we go! No, what's going on? Where's Danny? He doesn't care. He does his waiting. Danny's gonna give it to him. There's the pentakill. A donation from Cloud9 as EG take game number 2.
Should I go with my main?
Why not try something new? Something cheesy?
No, something spicy.
Just hurry up and pick your Grubhub order.
Done.
Champs like starting. Here we go.
Let's go. Guys, we are in this.
On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What is going on?
I can't afford streaming anymore, so.
Sure you can. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Oh, good. Because some true crime would be nice.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.